applause for the courageous Billie Jean King.
Foudy, Foudy. Love you, girl. Love you. Love you too. It's great. Here we go. Thank you. Well, a minute. Hi. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks. I don't know if I need this or not. Wow, thank you. Julie, Foudy Bowdy's here. The Kinger and the Foudy Bowdy. Whoa. Anyway.
This is danger.
Yeah, this is danger.
The same. You might be scarred from this.
Yeah, you should be careful. Be ready. Okay.
On purpose, I didn't watch that video until just now because I wanted that to be the first time, and it gave me goosebumps and almost brought me to tears. How many presidents have spoken about you, by the way? Good Lord.
I don't know. Maybe I hope I live long enough for 3. Or more.
So I just wanted to, before we start, I wanted to give a little bit of a background on,
Ford.
Everyone knows what Billie has done. You're still counting?
No, I'm just counting the presidents.
Sorry, she's still counting.
Actually, I had a few. I'm sorry. Ford, Nixon. Because Nixon signed Title IX.
How many? Let's get it out there.
I don't know. I'm just teasing. Well, I've never had that question. This is good.
See, this is good. I'm keeping you on your toes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, Billie and I have known each other for 20 years, and everyone knows what she's done, of course, not just for women's sports, I would say for humanity, for life in terms of positive change. But when I met Billie, and I'm going to give this story quickly, back in 1995, we sat down and I got invited to this incredible small round table of about 8 women. And Billie, myself, Sue Inquist, UCLA softball coach, others in the room. And Billie shares her story about the original 9 and how women's tennis broke away and they signed their $1 contracts. And as I'm sitting there, we are in the middle, our U.S. soccer team, this is the mid-90s, mind you, we're making $10 a day. And we're in the middle of a contract negotiation. And so I have this day with Billie where I'm hearing her story. And I say to Billie, oh my God, this is our story. This is what we're going through right now. We're about to sign a contract. And she goes, wake up, Foudy! What are you doing? You control what you do. And I was like, you're right. Billie did not know this till tonight. I went home that night.
I did not have any clue.
She had no idea. I said, I haven't told you this before. She goes, no. I flew home. I was flying to go into camp with the U.S. team. We were supposed to sign this again. Like, sweetie, come on. You should be happy you play for the U.S. team. Sign the $10 a day contract. And I was like, Billie Jean told me. And I'm hyperventilating. We cannot sign this. So from that day forward, the thing about Billie that I have loved, it wasn't just like, here's what we did and good luck, because it's really effing hard. Right?
Whoa! We're in the locker room right now.
I cleaned it up. I didn't say that really. There's no kids in the audience. We do have kids in the audience. I apologize.
Yes.
Sorry. She would check in all the time and be like, hey, how's it going? How can I help? What stage are you at? This is what we learned. This is what we did. And she would do this at every Women's Sports Foundation, not just with me, but you could see the video there. She would walk down the line checking in with athletes. What's happening in volleyball? How are you in softball? How can I help in field hockey? And that is what she did her entire life. Thank you. That's what you brought. So, you fought for equal pay for women's tennis. You helped us with our equal pay. Now we see where the U.S. women's team is fighting right now as well, soccer for equal pay. Where are we on the pendulum of progress for women's sports?
Very little.
Really?
What do you think?
I'm interviewing you. I just talked about it.
No, we talked earlier. Actually, it's amazing how when you read about history, it goes really fast. Like I'm reading Alexander Hamilton right now. And of course you're reading, it's a great book. If you haven't seen the play, you see it. But when you live it, it is so slow. It is slow, the progress. I mean, if you look at how long it took for women to get to vote or or civil rights in the 60s for people of color. Just, I mean, mixed marriages weren't okay until 1967. It's like, it's just mind-boggling. And Title IX wasn't until 1972, so I went to Cal State LA and worked 2 jobs and thought I was living large because it was pre-Title IX. And that's why Title IX is so important. And of course, everybody thinks it was for girls, but it's only 37 words, and it says no sex discrimination. That means either boys or girls. But we were so far behind, nobody understood that. Before 1972, for instance, there were classroom quotas, like if you wanted to be let's say a doctor at Harvard, the classroom quota was 5% girls. And it's just ridiculous. So you never want anyone to be discounted in any way. And we were discounted, and we still are sometimes. I think it's very important, just so you understand why I feel the way I do, why I think the way I do. It goes back to when I was 11, and I had my first coach, Clyde Walker, at the Park and Rec in Long Beach, California, Southern California. I'm so lucky. Okay, I'm born in mom and dad, Bill and Betty Moffat. My dad was a firefighter. My mom was a homemaker in the beginning. But okay, California, what do you have? You have great weather. What else did Long Beach have? Great Park and Rec department. I mean, so I had access. Access was so important. And then I had free instruction. And the second time I ever picked up a racket was the time I went to Houghton Park for my first instruction from Coach Clyde Walker. At the end of that day, remember, it's the only second day I've ever held a racket in my life, I decided I wanted to be the #1 tennis player in the world.
Took you a full 2 days?
My poor mom, she's driving me home. I go, Mom, this is it. I found out what I'm going to do with my life. And she's going, that's fine, dear. She says, you got homework, get your education. I said, Mom, you don't get it. This is it. She says, okay. And so I went home to tell Dad and Randy. And Randy Moffat played 12 years in the majors. He was with the Giants 10 of those years. Good relief pitcher, good slider. So anyway, both of us just about killed my parents because they didn't care if we were any good. And here you have 2 children. One's announcing at 11 that she wants to be the #1 tennis player. Then you got my brother who's 5 years younger. When he's 10 years old, we're at the dining room table for dinner. And he says to my parents, and to me, by the way, I want to be a Major League Baseball player. And my parents go,
why do we create such ambitious kids?
Right, not another one. That's exactly, I'll never forget them saying, you too? Why? We don't want you don't have to do this. You're not doing this for us, are you? No, we're not. But the reason I finally figured out why Randy and I really love pressure in sports, because we didn't perceive it as pressure. But my parents didn't care if we're any good. So we didn't feel any pressure from within the family unit. How many helicopter parents?
Yeah.
So I can't tell you how important that is. But before we really get into this, I just want to congratulate the coaches and the young people and all of you for your kindness and generosity, to PCA, obviously, Jim Thompson for starting this. And I appreciate this award because every award is a blessing. But it's just, you never do anything alone. As we go through this discussion, you'll see how many people I talk about. And as the little guys were saying that you matter to the coaches, everybody matters. And everybody's an influencer. So it's so sweet, though. Those kids go, you matter. I love it. It's so cute. You coaches, you do matter. Thank you for giving back. Thank you for shaping the future of these children's lives and these people's lives, because it makes such a difference. And I know Clyde Walker, my first coach, made such a difference to me. I'll never forget him. He's in my prayers every night. I mean, I love this guy because he just said, play because you love it. Play because you love it. And I had 2 parents, and then my dad wouldn't let me read my press clippings at 15. At 15, he said, you're not allowed to read anymore. And there's a story behind it. I'm not going to go into it. But I finally got on the front page of the Long Beach Press Telegram, and I'd lost Love and Love. And I was so upset. I was like beside myself. And my dad said to me, Billie, He says, what's this about? I said, it's about I lost, but I lost love and love. And I lost to somebody I usually beat. And if you don't know anything about tennis, it's the worst you can do. So anyway, love doesn't mean like love. It means a big zero. So anyway.
There's no love in it.
Carol Loop, I'll never forget her name. She's from Arcadia. Anyway, so my dad says to me, he goes, okay, Billie. He says, what's it about? I go, I told you, Dad. He goes, no. But when did it happen? I said, it happened yesterday. He said, exactly. It happened yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
And it matters what you do with your life now and tomorrow. So from this point on, I do never want you to read another press clipping, look at anything on TV about yourself. It's over. You're not allowed to, okay? And when you're away, because we used to go away without chaperones because we didn't have any money, and in Southern California, our team went away. We were the most responsible team, and the mothers and dads that were chaperones couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe us, like as teenagers. And so that really helped me. And I still get all like this, like that video I'm going.
That's great advice. Billie, you said
it really helps.
You said earlier that that pendulum for progress is happening slower than you would hope. It was at a dripping slow pace few weeks ago when I'm going back there. Raymond Moore, the CEO of Indian Wells. I'm sorry to do this to you.
You guys know about this?
Yes, of course. But what was your reaction to thankfully, the former CEO of Indian Wells' comments?
That took less than 24 hours, by the way, for him to resign.
Should have taken about 24 minutes.
I'm sure it did, but the world didn't know it for 24 hours. I'm sure. Ray Moore is South African originally, and we've known, my partner, Ilana Kloss, who's here tonight, is South African originally, American now, citizen. And we really like Ray. He helped with apartheid, which is really important. So I didn't put him under the bus because we all make stupid mistakes in our life. And I reached out to him and I said, okay, I'm sorry this happened. I hope it doesn't happen again. But, anyway, he knows I'm not going to put him under the bus. But the good thing that happened is the dialogue is continuing. And I think, like I held a press conference in Florida at the next tournament, the Miami Open. And I told Chris Everett, Chris, can I come? I said, sure. So the two of us walk in, and the WTA, the Women's Tennis Association, which I founded in '73, would not touch it. They were worried that we're going to get really crazy, And I got up there and said, you guys, this is not going to be a great announcement or anything, so don't get too excited. But it continued the dialogue. And Chris actually talked about the past. I talked about the present and the future. And then we went from there, but we just talked about how things have got to change. They just have to change. I did a keynote speaking engagement at FIFA, how many weeks ago? 4 weeks ago. Second day of Gianni Infantino's job. And so but we're asking for a lot. We want a third of the board to be women. We want the next, what do they call them, Secretary
General.
Mm-hmm. To be really prove that he or she is for gender equity, and that immediately, in fact, yesterday they should have start doing a strategic game plan around the commercial aspects of soccer, right down to the grassroots for girls and women, because this is their opportunity to actually grow and do the right thing, the moral right thing. And they have to start giving more money to the U.S. soccer so they can pass it to the women. I mean, it's just so obvious. And I don't know, it's really hard. The dominant group, anytime you have a dominant group, it doesn't matter, they think other people are invisible. And when you're the non-dominant group, you know a lot about the dominant group, and you have to really navigate quickly. So it's very important for the dominant group to stop and think and notice others and think about others and have empathy and try to change things. But it's ridiculous when you really think about why we aren't all having equal opportunity and rights and everything. I don't care who it is, and we have so far to go for girls. It's just, we're not even in the ball game yet.
When we were out to dinner, Ilana and myself and you in New York City, I said to Billie, are you getting any more sleep? Because her joke used to be, I'm still catching up on sleep. I lost in the 70s. And I said,
It's true.
Are you getting any more sleep? And Alana looks at me and she goes, Julie, she goes to bed sad every day that another day has just passed where she can't change the world.
It's true.
And
I stay up until 1 and 2 every day.
wow.
I get really upset.
Where does that drive come from?
I don't know.
Where is that?
I told my mom when I was 7 I was going to do something great with my life, and she said, keep drying those dishes. We didn't have a dishwasher back then. And see, I love my mom. She kept everybody sane in the family. But
Try those dishes, really?
I think I always felt, I never could understand why the Little Rock Nine, you know, about education, when you saw that children couldn't go to school. And now you have to remember California's different from the South, but I remember asking my mom and dad, you know, why can't they go to school? They said because of their color. And I'm like, what? So that really bothered me. And to go on with this 11-year-old, I want to be number one. At 12 years old, I was daydreaming at the Los Angeles Tennis Club. And I thought about my sport. I thought, everybody wears white shoes, white socks, white clothes, plays with white balls, and everybody who plays is white. And I said to myself, where's everybody else? Where is everybody else? And so that was the day I really decided to fight for equal rights and opportunities for girls and boys, men and women the rest of my life. And you see why I do team tennis. It's our 41st season coming up. Because I want us to work together as a team, men and women. We're still not there. We have a long way to go, but it's possible. I really feel strongly about this. I cannot tell you. And inclusion, that's why the Billie Jean King, and Christy Smith, who is fantastic. And she's got her own great stories. She played professional golf. And so as a gay woman, I just understand how horrible you feel being left out. And I didn't know I was gay when I was young. Maybe but I can tell you that make sure you always think about inclusion in everything you do in your life. Don't leave a kid out, just like Coach was saying. He helps the kids who didn't make the team. So I think it's Coach Strong, right? I think it was you that said that. And these coaches up here were just enlightenment. Really. Do we need it? Okay. So thank you. I want to thank, you know what I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the servers that served us dinner.
Yeah.
I want to thank the audio people. I want to thank the camera people. You know. Do you know how hard it is to be a server at these dinners? Because I go to a lot of these dinners, and these guys are sweating bullets, the women and the men, and they're trying to get through us, and we're in the way, and we're all talking to each other, and they're trying, food's here. You know, I mean, it's amazing how many people it takes to make something like this happen. So I just, you know, it's amazing. So I just try to be observant with that if I can, and just take a gut check all the time.
You have obviously inspired a lot of people. One of them is in this audience. I don't know if we have a shot of that. Tina, do you have that? Tina Sire?
Oh, Tina Sire, come on.
Here it is, look at this. Huh?
She'll come up. I think she's gonna tell her story, isn't she?
Tina, how old were you when this
I know how old she was.
1974, 22 months old.
Oh, that's a beauty. Look at that.
Is that cute? You're gonna tell your story later, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna take. I'm not gonna tell them your story.
So you've inspired so many people, but who's inspired you?
I got lots. Besides my mom and dad and brother, Clyde Walker, obviously, who I just love dearly. I just loved him, and he passed away very early. I was a teenager still when he passed away. He got cancer. Reverend Bob Richards was the minister of the church I attended, the First Church of the Brethren in Long Beach. If you don't know that Bob Richards, you might know him if you're really old like me, mature.
Seasoned.
Seasoned, yes. Seasoned jock. Get up there. Reverend Bob Richards won a bronze medal in the 48 Olympics and a gold medal in the 52 and 56 Olympics in pole vault. And this is before a pole vault had some flex in it. This was like dead. Whoa. You should have seen the poles. They were like stiff aluminum. And he was one of the first guys on the Wheaties box. This guy the sermons he gave every Sunday, you would think you could do anything. And every Sunday he had sports in every sermon. Sports in every one. Now here's a child sitting there, 11. I want to be number one tennis player in the world. And I am at a church that has a minister that speaks about sports and how important it is and how inspirational he was. And I used to go watch him practice in the back of the church. It was a dirt field. And I'd watch him practice and do hurdles and pole vault and run sprints and see his work ethic. So I saw him. And then I had 4 teachers, Mrs. Hunter in 3rd grade, Mr. Bamrick in 6th, Mr. May in 9th, Mrs. Johnson in 12th. These teachers changed my life. And Mr. Brennan, who was my coach, changed my life, and his family changed my life. They have 10 children in their family. I was the 11th. And Christy talked about being of 8 and how you better get that last dinner roll. The first time we had a meal in New Jersey is where they lived. They say grace quickly, and then I think we're going to pass the food around. No chance. Chiyong! Everybody goes in, and Mr. Brennan and Mrs. Brennan are laughing so hard because there's nothing left. I'm just looking around. They go, if you don't get in there fast, there's no food. And I'm like, okay, whatever it takes. So it was amazing. So Frank Brennan Jr., Mr. Brennan's oldest child, was the women's coach at Stanford. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
And Frank Brennan III is the assistant women's coach at Stanford right now. So if you see Brennan at Stanford, you'll know I'm connected to the Brennan family. And Mr. Brennan was a great coach. Just being with that family, coming from a small family to a large family, was one of the best experiences I ever had. And there's 3 things that I always found, I've observed with people who have inner and outer success. There's 3 things. 1, relationships are everything. Relationships. Listen to the coaches. Listen to the kids. Listen to people who have their coaches and how connected we are. And you heard the first thing is connection, which I'm huge on that. So it's relationships are everything. Keep learning and keep learning how to learn and be a problem solver. And sports teach you how to solve problems. That's all you're doing the whole time you're playing, is solving a challenge or a problem, right? So that's why I love sports. It's like life. And that's why when Jim started, God bless you, that's all I can say. It's just unbelievable. But those are the 3 things I've noticed people who have inner, not just outer success, because everything today is about outer success. And that's why I love this organization so much. You're about inner success as well. You've got to have that inner success to be happy in your life. And like people go, oh, which athletes do you like? Well, I like the athletes who are nice people, actually. That's who I root for and who I cheer for. And they go, well, yeah, but these number ones. I said, well, they're highly skilled and they're unbelievable, and I really appreciate this pursuit of excellence, but it's not quite enough for me. I like the old inner success and the good person. Be kind and good to each other. I'm very idealistic. So, anyway, I got to tell my Lindsay story.
On the video, it's pressure is a privilege. It's a quote we have used quite a bit.
I actually have a book. I should have brought it. Yeah. And I didn't bring it to you guys.
Your book is Pressure is a Privilege. How much pressure were you feeling? Take me back to that night.
Take me
back, baby! Because the world is watching. Women are wagering money.
Look at me. I'm sweating already thinking about it.
Is that when that phrase was coined?
No, I did it when I was coaching one time, and I guarantee you anybody that's coached in here, you notice how sometimes something will blurt out, you just blurt it out? No, it's coaching Fed Cup. And I was getting in there, I could tell they were like, Fed Cup is international team play for women when you represent your country. So anyway, it's like Davis Cup for the guys. So anyway, I'm coaching them, and I just remember them just in a bad place, and I did it in a fun way. I go, you guys, pressure is a privilege. It's fun. And they're going, and they liked it. And I thought, you know what, I like that. Pressure is a privilege, feels good. Another thing I always say when I coach is champions adapt or adjust. Champions, and I mean in life, champions of life, we're always adapting all the time. That's what makes greatness, staying in the process. You talk about, you've got to be in the moment. You've got to be in the zone. Being present is what makes you have the best possible life as possible. But that match was so meaningful because it was a year after Title IX, which we just talked about. we were only in our 3rd year of women's professional tennis. And I always feel like things are in a tenuous position. We definitely were in only our 3rd year. We were trying to get all the top players together. That's when I started the Women's Tennis Association. And I just knew this match was so meaningful as far as social change. I knew it wasn't really about tennis. It was, but it was about social change, what it represented. And my whole life is trying to bring all of us together. A lot of people said, well, didn't that divide people? I said, actually, it didn't. You got sororities and fraternities got together. Everybody's having bets. There's no question. The bets were flying around. But everybody, it really touched people's emotions. I mean, I think people started asking themselves about their relationship with themselves, with the same gender, with the opposite gender. I think there was a lot of emotional stirring going up, asking yourself some very important questions. But I did want to start to change the hearts and minds, which I said in the video, to match up with Title IX. That we're all in this world together, that we have to help each other, and that we should encourage each other to have equality. Equality is really important. I mean, when women only make 78, 79 cents on the dollar, the families are hurt. The children get hurt because of it. They don't have the income. If you have 2 lesbians, they both make less money. That's not good either. So no, but I'm telling you, you have. Would you give your girl less allowance than your boy? I mean, I don't hope not. I mean, it's so obvious. God, well, think about it. Well, it's like you. Okay, you and Ian. Okay, you brought home your money, and then the guys on the soccer team brought their money home. It means you can't do as much for your. It just goes right down to the bare facts of life for people. You want families to be healthy. And if someone's making less money, we have to work until April every year, girls, to be where the guys are in 1 year. That's why I think President Obama had his day, his Women's Equality Day, his Fair Play Day was in April. It's not right. It's just not right. It's morally wrong. It's just, let's just reverse it if it was the other way. I'd be shooting all of us, the women in this room, if we didn't help the guys get up to that. I mean, it's just the right thing to do. Sorry, I'm on my soap opera. No, but I didn't tell you the Lindsay story. I want to tell. I want to tell you a story that, since you guys are, the coaching is so important tonight. Fed Cup, we had Lindsay Davenport on the team. Do you guys know who that is? Most of you. Okay, Lindsay was a rookie. We're out on the court. The other players have actually left. I don't know why that. Usually I keep them out there. So, of course, she's 6'3", and I'm like, shorty, and I'm looking up at her like this, and I go, Lindsay, have you thought about being number 1 ever? She looks down at me. She goes, no, not really. I said, well, I'm sick and tired of hearing the media and everybody that talks to me about you. And she says, what do you mean? I said, well, they're so negative. They tell me how slow you are. They tell me you don't like to compete. They tell me you just don't have it. That you're too heavy, you're too fat. And I'm going to tell you what I see in you. Best striker of the ball in tennis, man or woman, right now, this year. Best striker of the ball. You're really smart. You're really smart. You're smarter than, you're just as smart as any player that's playing right now. And I know you hate to lose. I know you're competitive. I don't believe a word of what they say. Are you fit? No, you're not fit, but you can get fit. I think I'd like you to go away, and then you may not want to be number 1, but I think, and I know, if you get in shape, and you totally can be number 1 in the world. And I don't care if you're slow twitch. She is probably the slowest player that ever. She could hardly move, okay? But I don't care. I said it doesn't matter because God gave you the 6'3". If you were 5'3", we wouldn't be having the same discussion. But I said, you're 6'3", so God's taking care of that. He's compensated. So I said, I would like you to think about being number 1. And she goes, and Lindsay was very quiet, and she goes, I don't know. So she goes away. How many times do you think she was number 1 in the world? 4 times. And I don't know if that made a difference or not. I don't know. Her mother says it did. Lindsay's never told me. It's very interesting. I don't really care. She did it. But her mom said, you're the reason, because she came home and told me what you told her, and she'd never thought about it. So I want you to think, when you're coaching, you never know what a young person, you don't know. And I think I've heard the coaches say you have to expect a lot. I think people like high expectations. Another thing, I don't call a mistake a failure. I call a mistake feedback. Everything in life is feedback. So when a person says, oh, I failed, I did this, I made a mistake, I go, no, you got good feedback, how to get better, don't worry. But I ask young people, why did you win? Because that's what makes greatness, is knowing why you won. And great players always practice their strengths every day. And I'm talking about, I want people to put their strengths in their office, in their bedrooms. You young athletes here today, I want you to put your strengths up on the wall. Do not put, I don't want to hear anything about make your weaknesses adequate, but know what makes you great. Know what your strength is. That is everything. What's your strength when you played? Come on.
Oh, God.
Come on, pressure's on. Let's go. Pressure's on. Come on. Seriously.
I love when Kinger gets into the Kinger mode.
Come on. Let's do it. We got coaches here. We got this whole thing, this whole organization's about this.
My strength when I played, I was competitive. I will rip your head off to win that ball.
Number 11.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Get out of my way.
Really?
Yeah, and I wasn't fast and I wasn't 6'3", so I better have had that. So
you know what you had though? When I watched you, and I don't know anything about soccer, although I did play in middle school.
That's enough. That's all I.
No, but I played the whole field too, like you. But I want to get fit for tennis. Is the reason I did it. I really loved it. But when I watched you, you're the heart and soul of the team. You were the heart and soul of the team. And I'll never forget this one time when you had to, it looked like we were puking. We're so out of it. Like, we're like, the whole of the Americans looked like they were about ready to die. And I think you were playing young team. Was it Brazil then? Who was young?
Was it the Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brazil.
And they're really
Olympics.
young, okay?
Yeah.
And they're like
really old.
And you guys were old, right? Comparatively.
Really old.
As an athlete, but that doesn't mean old. So anyway, I'm looking at you, and you guys get in this huddle. And I didn't hear one word you say, but I could tell by your body language you're going, you guys, we're so much more fit. Look at them. They're so tired. They're so tired. They weren't tired at all. We were tired. But I could see Julie reverse them thinking, we can do this. We have paid the price. We're fit. And they're so tired. I can tell them they're tired. We can beat these young ones. Let's go. I don't know what you said, but do you remember what you said?
That's exactly what I said.
Did you? I'm telling you. All of a sudden,
Look at them.
right?
They're dead.
They're dead. Right.
If they're dead.
I don't know. I could just tell by your body language you're telling them, and I'm thinking that is great because it was just the opposite in reality. Brazil was young. They're just standing around. They're not even breathing heavy, and the Americans are going. It was great.
And then thanks to Abby's header.
Yeah, that was
And
good.
Thank God I kiss that forehead every day I see her.
Yeah, do you? You kiss Mia too?
all you do.
You kiss Mia when you see her?
Yes.
You kiss all
No,
the.
we often say it's Carla and myself were captains for many years. We'd call ourselves spin masters because it's just
true.
It's just fake it till you make it. You train your brain to suddenly follow that.
Yeah, act as if.
Yeah, you
I always
act
tell the
as if.
players, you guys,
Act as if.
it's like an actor. You have to act as if. And the more you act as if, the more you believe it, and then you are. It works.
And it works.
It really works.
I wish we had the rest of the evening to talk.
We had our jock talk tonight.
Yeah, but I know I speak for the entire room. If we can have a fraction of the influence and impact you've had on as many lives as you have had, then that will be a life well lived. So thank you, Billie, for
Thank you.
your
You've been
continued-
great. Love you. Love you. Thank you, everyone.
Stay here.
Thank you.